Okay, so I want to welcome Lynn Chesnutt, the Managing Director of the Tennessee Small Business Development Center, and also he works with the Chattanooga State Community College, and he's going to be talking to us about funding, one subject, and some other things on this list that I think would be very helpful for all of our entrepreneurship students. So let's welcome in, and Lynn, you have the floor now.
Thank you so much. Good day, everybody. Glad to talk to you. So a little bit about small business development centers. Quickly, we are a network of about 1,000 centers around the country, and we are missioned with helping entrepreneurs at any stage where they are with their business, whether it's starting, whether it's early stages of your business, growth, you're in a mature business and you're just maintaining, all the way to the point where, okay, I'm going to retire, I want to sell my business, or I want to um, give my business to my children or whatever. We help with those entrepreneurs through one-on-one consultation, research. We provide a conduit to resources such as attorneys, CPAs, a lot of other professionals. Tax dollars fund what we do. Also, our partnership with Chattanooga State, UTC, and the Chattanooga Chamber allow us to provide those services at no additional cost to the entrepreneur. So there are SBDCs in your area. I would urge you to connect with them wherever you are, because there are some really great resources. So with that, I'm going to start talking about funding. And also my background briefly is I spent about 33 years in the banking and financial services world. So something that I know a bit about. So first steps, before I talk about what types of loans are out there, I want you to be aware of what you're going to be required to do if you are seeking funding, whether you're a startup or an early stage or a mature business. Several things that you need to do. First, this is going to sound very elementary. How much do I need? Why is it important? Not just a number, but I'm going to use an example. So you have a business and you need $75,000 total, but you need $25,000 to do some renovations in the space that you're in. You need $25,000 for some equipment, and you need another $25,000 for working capital. Why this is important is what I just mentioned could be 3 separate loans. A loan for renovations should be for a specific time. It's going to be a term loan for a period of time. The equipment is going to be also a term loan, but it's going to be for the effective life of the equipment. All equipment or a vehicle has an effective life within your business, and you do not want to finance longer than what the effective life is. If the manufacturer says this equipment should last you on average 4 years, obviously don't finance it for more than 4 years. And most institutions will not do that. But again, structuring the loan is very important. Hey, now here's a big one. How much are you able to contribute? I will tell you this. No bank or credit union that I'm aware of, alternative lender, venture capitalist, or angel funder will loan you 100% of what you need. They just won't do it. This is not like a home loan. They're still offering some 100% home loans out there. But in the business world, they are going to be asking you for what we call skin in the game. Are you invested? So that's something that you need to be aware of. And there are a lot of misnomers about that. So How much do you need? And it will depend on, are you a startup? Are you an existing business? Who you're talking with and what that need is. Generally speaking, it's a minimum of 10%. It could be more, it could be 15, 20, 25%. But the smallest amount down that I'm aware of from institutions is 10%. Again, that's your skin in the game. You're showing that you're willing to take risk with your own resources. And then the third part, the uses, that again, that speaks to how much do you need depending on what the use of funds is. Another thing to consider, when a business loan is made or when an application is made, they are going to look at the owner or owners of the business. Your personal credit score, your personal capacity to pay, all of these things go into that. Why? You're the business. You are the business. And if you are just a sole proprietor or you're a single member LLC, they're going to look at you because you are also going to be required in almost every case to sign a personal guarantee. You're going to have to guarantee that that business loan is going to get paid back regardless of whether the business makes it or not. So regularly monitoring your credit score is important. I will tell you that nearly 70% of all credit scores have errors. So there are a lot of no-cost monitoring services out there. I use Mint. I get a monthly email of saying your credit score is in. I can go in and look. If it's changed, I can make sure something hasn't happened. If you've had credit issues in the past, look at them and start addressing them. If you need help, throughout the country, there are nonprofit organizations called Consumer Credit Counseling Services, and they will sit down and help you determine what's going on and try to help you fix it. Do not pay a credit repair company money to fix your credit because they can't do it. They can't do any more than you can with some help. Okay. And then talk to your bank or credit union about what you're doing. Or will this institution do a loan for a startup or for an early stage business? A lot of banks and credit unions require you to be in business for a minimum of 3 years. So talk to them up front and say, is this even a loan that you do? That way you're not wasting your time and their time. And also consult with your SBDC office. We can help define and identify banks, credit unions, alternative lenders, equity partners that might fit what you're doing. So talk to someone, okay? Now, let's talk about what type of business loans are out there. Term loans are for things like, I'm going to buy a building for my business. I need a term loan of 15 years to buy this building. It could be a piece of equipment. That piece of equipment is going to go on a term loan. I need a vehicle. I deliver my products. So I need a van or a truck. That would be a term loan. Fixed time, fixed rate to fit that purchase. A line of credit, on the other hand, is for short-term needs. So short-term, like, here's a great example. Right now, we're going into holiday season. You have a women's boutique. You need to build your inventory for the holiday season. And your bank or your lender gives you a line of credit to go buy your inventory. And then as you sell your inventory, you pay that line of credit back down so that at the end of December, you've paid it back. So the thing I always tell people, a line of credit should look like an EKG. It should move up and down as the need goes, and it should be short term. Never finance long-term needs on a line of credit. And again, getting with the right lender, they will help you walk through that. Another one, when I was in the banking world, I had a number of people who were landscapers. Well, they're not doing much in November and December, but in January, February, they're buying grass seed, they're buying shrubberies, they're buying all kinds of things. They're buying a new piece of equipment or two, get ready for spring. They would use a line of credit. And as their business started bringing in revenue, they paid that line of credit down. Okay? A letter of credit. This is lesser known, but it's something that, for example, the boutique I was talking about, she is buying from this manufacturer regularly. And before, she's had to pay in advance for her shipment. She'd like to have terms where that she can pay them, get her shipment in and pay them, say within 30 days. But they don't know much about her. So she goes to her bank or credit union and they do a letter of credit up to a certain amount of money and send it to this manufacturer to say, we honor this person, we believe in them, and we will pretty much guarantee you sending them different orders that they will be paid to you within a 30-day period. So they will, it's like them doing a credit check on you to buy a car, buy a house. It's a similar situation. Lastly, credit cards. A number of people might want to have a small business credit card if they're buying, let's say they're just making small regular purchases at Costco, at Office Depot, whatever, Staples, and they want to put that on this business credit card and then pay it off. It's a way for them to build their business credit. Again, a warning, credit cards should be used for short-term needs and paid off quickly. Okay, they need that should be paid off. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey is a financial guy on the radio, and one of my favorite things that he says is credit cards are like snakes. They will eventually bite you if you don't handle them with care. So that's one thing we talked about. So those are the type of business loans traditionally. Any questions? Okay. So traditional lenders, banks, credit unions, if you go and sit down with them, they are going to ask you for a lot of information. They're going to ask you, if you're an existing business, they're going to ask you for your financial information and business tax returns, as well as your personal tax returns, personal financial statements. They're going to ask for it all so that they can make an informed decision about, do you fit their type of loan that they're willing to do? Because business loans can be risky. If you're a startup, more startups fail in the first 3 years than make it. So it's high risk. But if they see that you personally have some assets, they may think that you're a great risk. So they'll make the business loan to help you build the business credit, but they have you on the loan as the guarantee. You could have a partner, and here's the way this works. If you have 2 people or 3 people, anyone who owns 20% of that company is going to be required to provide those documents and is going to be required to guarantee that loan. This helps them make the decision in the decision-making process with the underwriter. Okay. Now, let me back up a minute. I talked about traditional. I pulled a slide out of here because it had some Chattanooga information. So I want to talk about non-traditional. There are some non-traditional opportunities out there. The thing to remember, and to remember about any of these, how well do you know these institutions? Do your homework. Ask your SPDC partners. Ask people at SCORE, another technical assistance provider. Do they know these people? Are they legitimate? There are online lenders everywhere. Some are very legitimate. Some are not. Okay. There's one that I'll mention in the slide later called Cabbage with a K. They're owned by Intuit, who owns QuickBooks. Very legitimate organization. But there are a number of others that are not. So be careful. If you're turned down by a lender, traditional lender, make sure before you just go out to a non-traditional to sit down with someone and talk through why, and is there a way that there may be some things you can fix where that bank may make that loan 6 months from now or a year from now. It could be the amount of money you have to put into. It could be that you need to pay off an old debt that was delinquent, something that you need to clear up. So when a lender turns you down, they will tell you why. They will go into an explanation of what's going on. Remember this, it's not personal. Lenders do not care what you look like. They do not care where you live. Lenders want to make loans. That's how they make money. But they are held to certain standards. They are regulated by organizations like FDIC and OCC, and they're held to standards. So they have to go by a certain standard, and they have to be equitable in that standard. They can't make exceptions to someone just because it's their friend. Trust me, I spent a lot of years and sat in front of regulators to make sure that we were not being biased in any way. All right, microloans. There are a growing group of micro lenders out there, which are traditionally loans from $2,500 to $50,000 to help fund startup and early stage businesses. One of those that I want to mention, which is a worldwide organization, is called Kiva. And you see that down on the bottom. And by the way, Shanika, I'm happy to email this to you, presentation as well. That way, if anybody wants that, you want some of these links, you can have them.
Perfect. Thank you.
So I will do that so that you have that. But Kiva is sort of a crowdfunding, zero interest loan product up to $15,000. And you're required to help raise some of the funds through crowdfunding. It's a great example of using crowdfunding and getting a network of people together to help organically start or grow your business. And again, you get to pay the money back at 0% interest. So great option. It does have certain things that there are certain criteria you have to go through with it, but it is a fantastic program. We work with Kiva rep in Chattanooga, and it is a very popular product. There are some others. We have a credit union in Chattanooga that has a microloan fund, and in 4.5 years, they have helped I want to say it's around 150 entrepreneurs and have over $4 million in loans outstanding as part of that program. And they work with our center as well as others, and you have to be referred to that program. So there are a lot of really unique micro loan funds out there. So, how many of you have heard of venture capitalists? Anybody watch Shark Tank? So angel funders, virtual venture capitalists. Okay, let me talk about the real world when it comes to venture capital. Venture capitalists do exist. There are some growing venture capital funds. Venture capitalists do not fund restaurants. They do not fund women's boutiques. They do not fund a men's or a not men's, but a sporting goods shop. Those are slow growth, long-term endeavors. Venture capitalists generally fund high growth businesses. I can tell you that in the state of Tennessee, less than 1% of all the venture capital money in the United States is invested in Tennessee. I don't know that percentage in Georgia. I know it's more, but it's in the single digits. So there are some venture capital firms, but they are looking for companies that have the potential to grow like that because they want to invest, help you, and they want to be out in about 3 to 5 years, generally speaking. Now, what's a pro of them? When you make a loan, within 30 to 45 days, your first payment's due. With venture capital, you're not having to pay them a payment immediately. Their money is paid on the back end. So that's obviously an advantage. Disadvantage, they are going to be involved in what's going on in your business more than your mother-in-law, if you have one. Okay? They are going to be talking to you weekly, monthly. They want financials. They're going to be involved. Now, that's not all bad. Venture capitalists are entrepreneurs. They understand how everything works. So they're going to try to help you because they want you to grow and make it very valuable. So they're going to make money and you're going to make money. The amount that you pay them back will be significantly more than you pay a bank or credit union back as far as return. Okay. Now, angel funders are a little different. A lot of angel funders are people who are not millionaires, but they've been successful. We have some angel funders who, let's say they're at or nearing retirement. Their house is paid for. They fully funded their retirement. They're doing well, and they've got some money in the bank, and that money's not earning anything at the bank, and they're willing to go. You know what? I've always wanted to invest. They might be willing to invest in you if they believe in your idea, and so they're going to be a little more passive than a venture capitalist. They're still going to want to know what's going on. They're still going to want regular reports, profit and loss, balance sheets, income statements. They're going to see different things from you, but they're going to be, again, a little more passive. Now, they can be a little harder to find, and generally, they want to invest in things they at least have some understanding of. An angel investor who spent their life in, let's say they spent their life in the manufacturing world and you've got a women's boutique, they're probably not a good fit. Also remember, for them and venture capitalists, you are going to, at least on a temporary basis, going to have to give up a percentage of ownership of your business as part of that. I mentioned other options. These are options that are people that are they are reputable. I want you to be careful on the first couple because their interest rates are quite high, and you should use them for short-term needs. I'm going to give you an example of something. We're all, let me, and this will tell you how old I am. I don't mind telling you, I'll be 62 next month. So when I started in the banking world, 1982, interest rates were 18 to 20%. I was involved in my first mortgage with a high net worth individual who got the low rate of 16%. And right now we're making mortgage loans at 3%. Okay. So for most of you, you look at rates and you see high rates and you go, well, I would never do that. I would never pay that. But I had a client who needed $2,500 and she needed it for 90 days. She didn't have it. Cabbage offered her a loan at 21%. And she said, I'm not doing it. I said, okay, I get it. How long do you need it? She said, I need it 90 days. I'll get my money back in 90 days. Okay. How much money are you going to make on that 2,500? She said, I'm going to double my money. So I'm going to make 25. I said, so you're not willing to pay $132 to make 2,500? She goes, well, of course I am. I said, well, that's $2,500 at 21% for 90 days. Now, guys, I am not encouraging you to go out and borrow money left and right at 21%. But what I'm saying is, do the math. Go beyond the rate to, especially for very short-term needs. If you can make a significant amount of money, and this is your opportunity, this is your option, as long as you pay it back and you're done with that loan, that's a good deal. Okay? So, now, one other thing I do want to mention, and then I'll open it up for questions. You hear about SBA loans. And during COVID, I'm sure you heard a lot of stuff on TV, internet about PPP and EIDL loans by SBA. Well, the EIDL loan, Economic Injury Disaster Loan, which was done by SBA, those are only done during disasters. So let me tell you what SBA does during normal times. They guarantee certain loan products that you get at a bank or credit union. They will guarantee a portion of some of those. So if you're looking at an SBA loan, you're going to a bank or credit union and you're going to talk to them, and SBA would provide a guarantee of generally somewhere between 50 and 75% of what you're borrowing. And they are guaranteeing that to the bank. If you don't pay, they will reimburse the bank that percentage of that loan. And then SBA will come knocking on your door because they're going to recover that. Because they're loaning your money, taxpayer money. Okay? So that's the thing to remember. You are getting money that belongs to other people. My best analogy for you folks, I banned 2016 when I came on board in that office, I banned one word from that office that could never be spoken. And I'm going to speak that word to you all because I'm not in the office. But I hate the word free. Nothing's free. Nothing. Somebody's paying for it. So SBA loan, guaranteed, it's your money. Lastly, there are no government grants. Start a business. Okay. Are there grants by public companies, private companies, some nonprofits that are targeted toward different types of industries, different types of demographics? Yes, but they're small, or there aren't many, and they're highly sought after. Do not go on the internet and pay someone $39.95 for a book on how to find your government grant. Okay? Talk to your SBDC office. Let us help you determine whether this grant opportunity is real or not. Because there are a lot of caveats with grants that if you do not handle the money appropriately, they can ask for all the money back. So that's one of the biggest myths that we get every day is where are the grants to help me start my business? So I wanted to make sure and get that in there. Look, here's what we say. Our offices, we're here to tell you what you need to hear, maybe not what you always want to hear, right? So with that, I'm going to answer questions. There's only one dumb question, the one you don't ask. So ask away. Okay, I agree. Scholar?
You said SPVC a lot. What is that?
SBDC, I'm sorry. Small, yeah. It's all right. Sometimes hard to understand me. S, B is in boy, D is in dog, C is in cat. SBDC, Small Business Development Center. So there's one near you that will help you when you're looking at a business idea, build your business plan, help you determine what kind of funding you're going to need, maybe help you introduce you people who would fund potentially. So that's who they are. They're there to give you some at no cost advice and to help you think about things you need to do as you're looking to start your business.
Yes, I
Thank you.
definitely, great question, Skylar. I'm definitely gonna, Lynn told me about the one that's in Rome, that's next to our Rome campus. So I definitely am going to be reaching out to them to see how we can work with them, with our school and with, together to see how we can get them working with our entrepreneurship students. So
And let me
definitely,
say this, I will, and I know you have my contact information. Look, for any of the students, if they want to email me and ask me a question or ask me for a resource where they can start maybe researching the feasibility of their idea, whatever, I am more than happy to give you maybe a site or sites or somewhere that you might look, give you we've got some different things. And we also have some on-demand classes that we're happy to connect you all to that you can watch on your own time. One of them is creating a business plan. And let me tell you, folks, business plan, a good, thoughtful business plan is vital. It's vital. Most institutions will not talk to you without it.
I'm glad you said that. We have some students in our 2700 class and 2800, and that's our one of our main focus is creating a really good business plan. So I'm glad. See, it's not just me saying these things.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
told you that it's important.
I saw Avery smile.
Yes, she's in one of the classes. See, I told you it wasn't
Uh,
just me. So
you can say now, I told you so.
yes,
I wanted to mention Madison McCann is on the call. Madison's in our office. She runs our office. She's our marketing person. She's my right arm. I couldn't, if she leaves, I'm leaving. So she just put in the chat some information. Madison, you want to mention what you put in there?
Sure. That's the link to all of our resources. If you want to meet with a counselor, that link is on there. Our on-demand and live classes you can find through that link, social media, and our podcast and our monthly newsletter. If you just want to stay connected and see, get a reminder of what we're doing, and because sometimes our classes change quarterly. So we're always adding new things. We'll be releasing season 2 of our podcast soon. So that's just the easiest way to stay connected with us.
perfect. I'll make sure I'll save that, and I'll definitely upload that to our class as well with this recording of the video. Thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. We worked hard on season 1 and season 2 of our podcast. And we were fortunate to be able to buy some podcast equipment. So we're going to be able to podcast from here on. Great topics, a number of us successful entrepreneurs and strategic partners have joined us on some of those. So please, you can listen anywhere you listen to podcasts. So.
And one other thing I want to mention is
Sure.
on our Instagram, we do a weekly on Friday video in IGTV. It's usually 3 to 5 minutes of a specific business advice. I think that's really helpful. And so if you would find that helpful, feel free to follow us. We post other things too.
Are y'all like a community with your social media?
Sorry, what did you say?
Is there social media? I'm checking out your social media and it seems like it's a mini community. How do y'all run? How's your social media run?
I do that.
I like
Yeah, I mean, we partner a lot with other resources in our community, but the weekly videos are done by the counselors and myself in the office. Everything else that you might see, sometimes we do an interview with someone. I see the week before last, Josh did an interview with Tennessee Valley Federal Credit Union about an event that they had coming up. So sometimes we do bring in community partners, but for the most part, it's us.
We are a nonprofit, therefore we run lean and mean, and we have to be. And again, Madison, when she came on board, our Instagram was non-existent. We had 2 bots. We now have almost 1,000 followers. So, and again, we're fortunate. Chattanooga is an amazing entrepreneurial community, and guys are not in Chattanooga, but you connect with us, you will hear resources that similar to what the areas you're in. So, we're always happy to try to find out other people that may be in your areas. But even though some of the things we do is specific to Chattanooga, a lot of it is, it's for anywhere. So, what other questions can I answer?
What's you guys' Instagram name so I could follow you?
I will put that in the chat.
Thank you.
Please. There you go. So yeah, follow us. Look, here's what I will tell you. Small business ownership is incredibly rewarding, but it is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. In January every year, we have people who over the holidays and they make a New Year's resolution. I'm tired of my job. I'm going to start a business. And one day I had someone who came into my office and said, I'm tired of working an 8 to 5 job. I want to own my own business. And I laughed at him. And he said, what are you laughing about? I said, you don't like working 8 to 5? Which 12 hours are you now going to work? Because that's business ownership. It's not 8 to 5. It's just not. But we have an amazing group of clients, many of which are successful people. We have clients that their businesses are over 100 years old. But they still have challenges. They may be looking at growth. We have one right now that's doing a brand new product line, and they're in the food and beverage industry, and it's a big departure for them. And we're helping them understand markets for that particular product. And you think after, well, what can we teach them after 100 years? Things change all the time. Your generations, your buying habits are very different than mine. So it changes. So we're also sort of that third party to make sure they're seeing everything. Entrepreneurs get head deep in their business and they don't always see what's going on around them. And your family and friends will always tell you how wonderful your idea is and how wonderful you are. And that's what they're supposed to do. Our job is, I want you to start a business, but I do not want you to invest $1 of your money or borrowed money into something that we're not as sure as we can be that it is feasible to do and do at a profit.
I had a question.
Hmm?
So, I currently work with my family in our family dealership, and I wanted to open up a second location. But before that, I was also thinking about getting into the Airbnb situation. Do you suggest me do that? Because there's also Turo as well, and it's like I kind of already know about cars, so investing in Turo would probably be something I'm looking into as well. Is there any advice you can give me about that? About either Airbnb or Turo?
Well, I will tell you firsthand, we have one of my coworkers has a tiny house in Chattanooga that she Airbnbs very successfully, very successful. She did her research. She went through and, worked hard to go. She had to do some discussions with the local municipality based on where this tiny house was, which is behind her house. So she did a lot of work on that. Look, Airbnb, Turo, it's growing significantly. I'm doing an Airbnb in Florida in a few weeks. But I would tell you to start small and grow, because and also do a comparison. Fees, what is the site, how many people are coming to the different sites. Everybody thinks of Airbnb or Verbo, for vacation. New ones coming in. The plus side is maybe the fees are not as high. The downside is they haven't grown, so you don't have as many potentially who are seeing it. And then the big thing is marketing. Not just them, but I have another friend whose parents have a cabin in the Smoky Mountains, and they market, or did. Now they don't have to, because it stays booked all the time. Just about every time I email or text Marcia, hey, is your parents' cabin available? I get a quick nope. So it has stayed that way. And she just, it's booked so much that even me as her daughter doesn't even get to go. So it can be very lucrative, but there's a lot that goes into that. If you want more information, I'd be more than happy. I'm sure I could twist Sarah's arm to give you a few pointers as she was looking at it, what she was thinking through, and some of the research she did. So don't hesitate to reach out, and we'll get you a few things to think about.
I would really appreciate that because I do live by Atlanta. So I feel like Atlanta is growing like a lot right now. And I feel like that's where I would want to open up an Airbnb.
Yeah. Oh, it is. I mean, when you look at, we're seeing extensive growth in Chattanooga, Nashville, Knoxville, Memphis, which didn't grow at all for a while, is even starting to turn now. Atlanta, where I am right now, Jacksonville, Florida, I'm in a community right now of 21 subdivisions. They have 4 more subdivisions going up. I mean, it's crazy. A lot of it has to do with low tax base. It's a multitude of factors. But living in Georgia versus they're leaving California and New York and Illinois in droves, and they're coming to these places. So you're right, and that's one of the things you mentioned, looking at growth patterns. Not so in Atlanta, looking at where the growth may be. I interviewed for a job in Stockbridge, Georgia in 2001, and it was a small community. Henry County just went crazy. I stopped off there one of the last times I came to Florida. I couldn't believe the growth. So look at those pockets where the growth is, and then also what does your competition look like? Can you offer a unique? So Sarah has a tiny house. I mean, it's cool. She's got an Instagram page, by the way. You want to come stay at a tiny house in Chattanooga? I'm sure she'd love to have you, but that's something different that not everybody has in Chattanooga. So it's a cool little vibe. So great question. What else?
Would you suggest me get some sort of line of credit to open up an Airbnb, or would you suggest me just do it out of pocket?
Not a line. The only reason you need a line of credit is if you have something short term that you have to do. Here's what I would tell you, and I'll loan money to people. I've been loaning money to people from 1982 to 2013. And I would tell you, if you don't have to borrow money, don't. Because that's a payment you don't have. Now, don't expend all your cash. Okay? So maybe you look at a traditional loan and you put some money into it, and then you market it so that your people staying there are more than paying for your payment. And you're going to have to do upkeep, you have to do repairs, those types of things. So, but not a line of credit.
So just like a loan, a small loan.
Yep, a term loan.
Okay.
Yep.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. What else?
I know I have some students that have to run to their next class. So if they have questions, they can it's okay for them to contact you through your link tree, or should I send them your way?
I mean, either way, here's the thing I would tell you. Send them through the link tree, and as they sign in, it's all confidential. We're not going to say your name to someplace you get all kinds of junk mail, but it puts you in our system. That way you can do an on-demand event, or a live one via Zoom or something at your convenience. But if you have a simple question, I don't have a problem with you sharing my email address. If you got a simple question that you want to ask me, I'm happy to answer your question. No, I'm happy to do that.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for this. This was so informative. You really went into depth, because I went over some financial options, but the book doesn't cover everything. Yeah. Thanks. Ari has the clapping hands there. The book doesn't go into everything. You really need an expert. So I'm so happy that you were able to talk with us and give them that actual real in-depth, true information that they need, instead of seeing, they read so many things on the internet, or they see so many things on the internet and websites, and it can be a lot to try to figure out what's a good resource and what's not. And so this was very, very helpful. And I really
I always enjoy doing these things. Madison can tell you, we all of our folks will love it. And look, go out there, research, become entrepreneurs, do it, but do it the right way and be successful. Small business drives our economy. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It does. And it will continue to drive our economy, and for us to have a very successful economy. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you again.